Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It's the Thursday Thriller Truck Series from Moonlight Racing League here live on the Vortex Racing Network. I'm Mean Gene Money. I've got Smoke and Joe Volpus up here in the booth with me, and it's time for race number 3 of our 12-week regular season. It's season 6 of the Thursday Thriller Truck Series, and tonight we're going to bring you the action from the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP. We're in season 6. It's been since season 3 since the boys were here. Joe, can you feel the anticipation?
Oh, man, we got some short track racing here after a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Calm start to the season here after those first 2 races. We now got something a little bit more spicy, as some guys might say, going on here. Going to a short track, Lucas Oil IRP. One of those tracks that we usually go to in other sorts of cars, such as, late model stocks, modified, stuff like that. So bringing the trucks here for the first time in 3 seasons is going to be a challenge, especially with a lot of newcomers out here in the series this season.
Oh, they're going to love it. Last time they were here, season number 3, 19 drivers raced, 11 finished on the lead lap. It was Scotty Estep took the win. Zach Panzarella and Steve Fugate were your top 3. Story of that race, though, late in the game, Joe Volpus running second place, running up front all day, hits the brakes to avoid an incident with the leader, spins, and ends up on the last guy on the lead lap. Tough break. We'll see how it goes tonight. Now, you mentioned earlier it'd been an easy, lazy, calm start. Well, you know who it's been calm for, and that's David Owens. He won the first week at Nashville, won last week at Auto Club. So this guy's just been looking at everybody in his rearview mirror. So that's the guy you want to be right there. Zero chill. Look at the shades, and that's the look he's got for everybody on the track. That number 8 Nas Ford just playing dominatrix right about now. You can go ahead and take a little peek at the season standings as well and look up top. Bada bing, bada boom. David Owens, the dominator, up top there in points. Now, Joe, funny thing I want to talk about. This is a win and you're in situation for the Thursday Thrillers Truck Series, but something of significance right now. Bonus points. David Owens, he took that win last week, gave him the 44 points. He led a lap. He actually led 2, so congrats. Got 1 point for that. That gave him a total of 45. Now look at the guys in second and third in the point standing, specifically Kyle Lynott. Lynott last week acquired 37 points in the race, but picks up 11 bonus points. He won the stage for 10. And then he got another 5 on top of that, another 4 on top of that. So 14 bonus points. That's the way to go. Stage points, something we don't talk about enough, I think.
Yeah, the stages really do matter a lot, especially since the cautions were added for it a couple seasons ago, where now that really plays a huge part in the way the strategies will start playing out in these races. We've seen it time and time again, to be or not to be when you want to take tires, pretty much. Do you take tires in that first stage and really risk, compromise your race in the second half if there's a late race caution and go for the stage win? Or do you just roll with what you got and go for the race win, hopefully later on? We see a lot of that every week here, especially in the series now. Just which way do you want to go? Do you want to take the points for the stage and that playoff and the playoff points for it? Or do you want to go for the race win at the end? I think that's really going to develop every week. I don't think we're going to see it that much this week, though, in particular there, Mean Gene, because we can go pretty much the whole stage on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, and that's also, of course, strategy is a big concept the drivers have to put into the mental equation as they're out there on the track. But for me, Joe, it's iRacing, and I know that there's going to be a Zach Clausen out there going to cause a late caution. I'm going to go for the stage win, and then I'm going to double down, and then I'm going to go for the win at the end of the race. I'm going to save me a set of tires, and then I'm going to put them on for that last 15, last 18 laps. So iRacing gives you a little bit more freedom to do those amazing things. 24 drivers last week at Auto Club. David Owens, of course, was the winner. Joe Volpe second. Alex Hillman was third. Lots of exciting racing at Auto Club. Can't wait to pick it up here tonight as we are in the third race of the season. And look at those practice numbers. Sean Walton, remember, he took the pole at Nashville in his first truck series. So very excited to see what the young driver can put together tonight in the LPM number 18 out there. Joe Volpe second fastest. Owens fourth fastest. Tommy Fox, great run there by Tommy, number 57 veteran, right there putting down a heater in practice for third. There is the Rooster Babcock in fifth. Captain Steve Lewis. Patrick Cowgill. Patrick Cowgill, another guy, beneficiary of getting lots of stage points, lots of bonus points. So got to keep an eye on there as this season unfolds. Lots of big names out here today. 20 drivers, of course, today are signed up. So we'll have a good field, one more than last time. And 20 drivers on Daytona, Talladega. You might not think that's a lot of room. Here today, though, IRP, Joe, we might be touching bumpers.
Oh yeah, we might see a lot of that kind of racing out here today. We'll see how it really plays out with these guys. I'm very curious to just see the way everybody's gonna really battle it out for the race win. Of course, we'll see how much tempers really fly. If we got some of those guys try and see what they can do. They might try and be a little aggressive with some of their moves. It's one of those tracks where, you have to use the brake pedal, right? So I think that's going to play a huge factor in how the race is going to play out. And you know what else is going to have a factor in the way the race plays out is who's up front at the start and who isn't. Look at those lap times. They're coming in already. Sean Walton right now at the top of the board. But looking a little further back, some of those guys you were highlighting in practice, Steve Lewis, 9th, Tommy Fox in 10th currently.
Ooh. And then Cowgill back in 11th. So a little bit difficult right now to put down those early laps, but we'll see what they do. And look up there, look who's in second. Jeff Pfeiffer again. This guy week after week, starting up in the front, strong runs, just needs to break through that ceiling and lay down that finish that we've been looking for out of Pfeiffer. I think tonight could be the night, as long as the track stays clear in front of him. Oh, look at Owens. The track's clear in front of him, but it's not clear on the side. Going to go ahead and rub that wall. You are not the watermelon bandit, buddy. You can't do that out there today. Hey, there's Jonathan Casabira, the Morenci, Michigan driver, running that 73 in that DDI Chevrolet. Is that a different number for Jonathan? I seem to remember him being in a different number, Joe.
Yeah, so some people, of course, changed numbers this season. We're looking at one of them right there. Jonathan Casavir was in the 8 previously. Now he's in the 73. David Owens, of course, taking over the 8. And Andrew Bolander moves to the 11 as he joins the series.
Lots of moving around. That's the NASCAR Radio Chevrolet of Stephen Bryan we see on the track right now, running in that number 16. Bryan trying to put down some hot laps, going to have a little bit of a climb ahead of him. It's David Brenner. He's looking like Dom from The Fast and the Furious, just going to drift that bad boy around earlier. David Brenner had an exciting race earlier today. He ran really well at Richmond over in the Premier Cup with our sister league, the Bonfire Race League. Had to put up with a drunk driver out there. That 51 got in his way. I thought it was going to be bad, but David managed to make his way through there. So lap times coming through, looking like Sean Walton might be picking up his second pole of the season just here in our third race. I'll tell you what, this 18-year-old, he has just showed up fast. Really seems like he came to his own when he won that 6-pack Monday Night Mayhem mini series, Joe. This dude's just flexing.
Yeah, really, really hot lap he put down there. Let's take a look and see just how close it really was there for the pole. You can see he only got him by 3/100ths. Short track racing, you expect times to be really close. But 3/100ths, it's more than what he got Vulpes there in practice. Got Pfeiffer by 3/100ths here in qualifying. So great run from Sean once again. I believe he started up front, may have had a pole actually at Nashville, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this season as well. So he's shown to be really fast on one lap pace in these trucks.
Yeah, so second pole of the season. Congratulations. That's going to go out to Sean Walton, starting up on that front row inside lane. Jeff Pfeiffer is going to be outside with him on the front row. Joe Vulpes and Matt Tucker going to start there on the second row. David Owens going to be starting in fifth place. Outside of him, defending series champion Zach Panzarella going to be in the number 6 position. Seventh going to be Cody Matthews out there in the 9-0 blur number. Tommy Fox going to start in 8th in the number 57. The Rooster Robert Babcock going to start in 9th, and Rich Swingle in 10th is going to be your front 5 rows.
Starting in row 11, a couple of teammates with each other there. Jonathan Casabier, Patrick Cowgill. Starting in row number 7, you got Steve Fugay starting alongside Ricky Mandela Sr. Right behind them, you're going to see Steve Lewis, the captain, starting alongside Chris Cowgill. And then you see in row number 9, Michael Benton gets a lap time down there, good enough to qualify 17th in the 00. He's going to start alongside David Brenner, whose drift skills were only good enough to get him 18th on the board. You see Stephen Bryan there. He's going to start in 19th here tonight. And then rounding out the field, not putting down a qualifying effort, very indicative of what he does in every other series I see him racing. Andrew Bolander going to start last with no qualifying time.
Funny story behind Bolander. During qualifying, he always seems to be in a Porta-John, but that Porta-John has never been used. Smoke can be seen coming out the top of it. Not sure what's going on in there. Must be some type of ancient Buddhist meditation with all of the smoke coming out at the top of that. So he'll start in the back, but we've seen him win from there. 20 drivers today ready to do battle here at IRP. 151 laps scheduled. We will have a stage point award to the top 10 drivers, and that will occur at the end of lap 75.
Yeah, we're going to see how this all plays out strategy-wise there, Mean Gene, because the fuel tank is about 65 to 70 laps. So we're right on the cusp of being able to make it to that stage there.
Well, that'll be interesting to see. One caution away from pushing it all the way to the end. Of course, there is one fast repair out there for the boys. And are you aware of how many sets of tires? I don't have that here.
Yeah, so it's 3 additional sets of tires. This is why pitting for the stage usually matters a lot. But tonight, what we're going to see with the short track racing style, to tell you the stage there is actually lap 70. So what happens here is with the way the short track style works for fuel here for tonight, we're only going to see pretty much that one pit stop in the first stage. Everybody should be able to make it there to the stage, or they may come and top off fuel if there's no cautions. So I don't really expect tires to be an issue here tonight. No sort of real tire strategy to do in a race like this where track position matters more than tires.
I'll tell you what, looks like we're going to be under are we going to be under the lights for this? Because I see some amazing paint jobs right now. I got a blimp view on my camera on my monitor here. And just the looks of these trucks is simply amazing. Look at that. Walton's, Tucker's 25. Good looking stuff. Here we go. And we are going to take it around turn 4. Sean Walton in the 18 Little Debbie machine is going to lead us across that start finish line. And we will soon be underway here at IRP. Coming around turn 4. And there's the green flag. Sean Walton up to the top immediately. You can see a little bit of contact between Pfeiffer and Vulpes. Walton leading him around. Ooh, looks like it got spicy quick, and there's an immediate caution. Oh, the captain is crunching.
Forget about the captain crunch. Look at all these trucks stopped. Man, this looks like Richmond last night in the Cup Series from real life.
Matt Tucker involved, the 11 of Bolander involved. Lots of excitement immediately here at IRP. Hey, you know what? It's been a week since we've chatted. Let's just park it and start talking. I heard a lot of chipping on that mic, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back and see why these guys are chipping so much on the mic.
All right, let's see Panzarella. I see Tucker. A little neck code. That's nobody's fault. And Tucker's going to scrape. And that's a double T-bone. You know, I hate when people come to my restaurant and they split a steak, and that's what we saw. They just split that T-bone. Oh.
Yeah, you can see the neck code there. You could fit a lot of space in between the two of those trucks right there. Unfortunate neck code to start a wreck in the first corner of the first lap. Obviously, Netcode doesn't realize that you can't win the race in turn one, right, Mean Gene?
No, it needs to learn. So, looks like 5 men are in the pits right now. Patrick Cowgill's got his 31 Chevy down there. Matt Tucker, Steve Bryan, Rich Swingle, and Chris Cowgill. Oh, it was a Cowgill family reunion in the pits. Oh, Brenner barely made. You know, Brenner's lucky he had that warm-up with the 51 over there in the Premier Cup, so he was ready for some insanity and foolishness ahead of him. Repair still underway. You can see the 25 of Matt Tucker trying to get out of there before the pace truck brings it around. Sean Walton still leading the group. As I look back in the field, it looks like Lewis and Bolander Mandela still rolling, so not needing to come in. And maybe they just got a little love taps in that little pileup, Joe.
Yeah, you know, if it's very, very minor, you really don't need a pit to fix a couple seconds, in my opinion. I take the track positions over fixing like 5 or 6, 12, even 12 seconds of damage, unless it's making the car drive like really bad, or the truck drive really bad. So in this case, I think just staying out and feeling it out is probably the best plan. Let's not try and give up too much track position and just try and get as far as we can into this race before we think about doing something like that.
Speaking of track position, how difficult is it to pass out here? I mean, clearly you're not going to pass that hot mess, but I mean, is high the way to go? Is low? Tires wearing out? What are the drivers thinking as far as advancing themselves?
Yeah, so I think right now, the high line is probably going to be your dominant lane. I think that's what we're going to see as we get some green flag racing going. The high line was dominant in the Xfinity series, so I'm expecting the same here. However, the track rubber is a little bit messed up, so the bottom might have some secret speed to it here tonight.
Yeah, see what we can do. Sean Walton on the outside. He is your control truck. Going to bring it into the restart zone. On the inside, you can see Pfeiffer ready to go with him, hoping to find some rubbers, just like you mentioned. And away we go. What a jump by Sean Walton. He's off to a 2-3 truck lead. Pfeiffer and Owens side by side. Owens now making use of that outside lane, closing the gap. It's still Walton in the lead. He's going to slide up high into the front of David Owens. Walton, Owens, Pfeiffer, Vulpes, Panzarella, top 5. Walton using the middle of the track now. Owens content to fall in line, and it's Sean Walton going to lead lap number 6 here at IRP.
Yep, Sean Walton taking advantage of the pole position, and he's doing a good job right now holding off David Owens at this point in the race. Further on back, you see that battling for third going on. Zach Panzarella made a really nice move to get into third, and now you got Joe Vulpes and Jeff Pfeiffer side by side behind for fourth.
Pfeiffer in the 85 Harley-Davidson tapped the wall. That opened the door.
Oh, he's getting loose.
Oh, now he's sideways with the 85. No. Oh, unfortunate. Don't hit that in. Okay, not a problem. It looks like he towed immediately.
I think I got some bad news for you there, Mean Gene. I think Jeff parked it there and decided to take a helicopter at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Well, that was not what we wanted to see. The 85 with that promising qualification run cannot build on that momentum here today at IRP. That will end the day for the number 85 Harley Davidson truck driver. And you can see here just once your tires start to go, you're just in for a world of pain. And I think that's what we saw. I think he might have smoked those tires at some stage of the game and was just never able to come back from it.
Yeah, I think maybe it may have something to do with maybe having a little too much rear brake in it as well. That can happen. You get on the brakes a little too hard when the rear brakes are a little too high. Just watch it here, Mean Gene. Maybe he just got on him a little too hard and it sent it sideways into the corner, and at that point, he's just a passenger.
Well, a little bit of excitement for the blue truck there on the inside of Joe Volpus. He had to be excited, and they split Pfeiffer. No contact with anybody. Now, you talk about that rear coming around. We've had a lot of talk about brake bias, but no one talks about the size of those discs. Do you want the rear one to be bigger? Or will that make it come around? I mean, what is there a correlation in those numbers, Joe? What's the story there?
So I think what you're trying to talk about is something that has nothing to do with the truck series at all. Actually,
we don't get to do that here.
You're talking about the Cup car, which has a completely different kind of complexion to it, of course. The Cup car has the ability to change your master cylinders around, and that'll really affect the way your brake bias goes. It looks like we're going to be able to do our silent lap 12 under caution for a change, which is pretty interesting. Going to be a nice silent lap 12 coming to a green, I think, there, Mean Gene.
Yep, of course, lap number 12, we will go silent in honor of Dennis Puckett. We lost our founder of the Beyond Empire Race League. Lap number 12, we will go silent for him. Dennis Puckett smiling down from above as he continues to see our leagues grow under what he started here. The flower still blooms, my friend. You are missed. Up front, Sean Walton side by side now with David Owens. Owens trying to make that bottom lane work side by side. I think he found a little bit of that rubber, and he's actually going to lead that lap. David Owens going to lead lap number 13. Walton still making use of the outside. Behind them, single file, Joe Volpus. And then you can see Panzarella and Babcock. Well, we are continuing to have an adventure of cautions out here. You said it was a tight track. I didn't realize it was that tight as these boys trying to figure out what's going on. A little chirping out there, but it sounds like Matt Tucker says it's his fault. Let's take a look. That's 25 of Tucker. Oh, and he's just going to spin round, white round, baby.
Yeah, I think that's a result of the damage to the truck more than anything else. You can see the whole rear clip is pretty much missing off that thing. So not a lot of rear downforce to really go around. I know I was saying earlier that, it doesn't really matter if you have a couple seconds of damage. When the whole rear clip is missing, that's more than a couple of seconds. So it just looks like it gets very unstable. I think I have noticed personally in some of the recent damage model updates that rear end damage matters a lot more, especially in these trucks now, where it's even hard to hold them in a straight line going around Daytona if you have this kind of damage to the rear of it.
Well, and I think that's probably what we saw happen with Jeff as well. He might have had a little bit of tappy poo. I told you he hit the wall, which opened the door for Panzarella to take over the number 2 position. So who knows? Maybe that's what we're dealing with. But caution here on lap number 16 now, and we see David Owens back up front. Of course, Owens, 2-time winner in the first 2 races. So this fella, he'd love to go for a 3-peat. Only Jordan does that, though. We'll see. Can he get up into that rarefied air of his greatness? Behind him, Sean Walton, pole setter, is in second. Joe Volpus and Zach Panzarella third and fourth there on the second row. The Rooster, Robert Babcock, in that number 2 target machine. You can see him. Behind them, you got Cody Matthews in the 902 Cody, is that still his rookie number? Is he looking at getting a new number next
Correct.
week?
I think he needs to make a couple more starts still to get there, but he's going to get there here starting to race with us. So we'll see. We'll see when he gets his number. I think he needs one more start, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he's running that Bucky Chevrolet out there, and looks like he took a picture with Bucky Beaver himself for his profile pic. That's awful nice. Behind him, Andrew Bolander. He's moved up from the last starting position to. Oh, hey, kitty cat. Up into the 7th position. David Brenner is going to be next to him. Kyle Gill, Fugay, and there's Ricky Mandela. The pace car is off. We're keeping an eye on David Owens as he comes into the restart zone, and away we go. David Owens going to lead him into turn 1. Sean Walton, he's up on that high line. Joe Volpus behind him. Panzarella, Babcock, and then Matthews. Look at us go single file almost immediately all the way back to Bolander and Cowgill. Up front, David Owens trying to just put down a few laps. Sean Walton, though, not going to let him escape. Walton and Owens slowly starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Joe Volpus taking them easy laps, but now he's got a wild Panzarella down below him, falling back into line. Single file, Joe. I love watching how they spread out and go straight back into single file on this tiny straightaway.
Yeah, we're seeing some different lines, though, as you look between Volpus and Panzarella there. I don't know if they're going to do it this time. The 12 going a little bit lower, it looks like, than the 13. I really noticed it down in 3 and 4 that last time, where the 13 was up a lot higher than the 12. Let's see if you can see it there. You can see Zach's diving it in a lot lower than even the other 2 trucks in front of Volpus as well, trying to do something a little bit different. And it looks like that battle behind them there, Cowgill and Bolander, maybe they finally have sorted out who wants to be in position number 7 there.
Well, continuing to battle, Bolander's just been moving up since this race started. He was in the back, and now he's up there battling out there. As you said, behind them, Brenner and Steve Fugay. That is going to be your top 10. Lots of single file now, Joe. I'm expecting us to push this thing all the way to that lap 70 now, unless, of course, we see the self-spin. But other than that, single file racing all the way back. David Owens going to lead him around lap 4 here, turn number 4 on lap 22 and bring it across. Panzarella does keep peaking under the 13 of Volpus, though. That should be exciting. And also, I see Matthews starting to get excited underneath Babcock. That's that 902 Bucky's truck looking under the 2 of the target. I didn't know there was a retail battle between those 2, but those Buckies are pretty large.
Yeah, they are. They're getting pretty worldwide here. I think nationwide, I should say, as well. So Bucky's are really growing their brand, and they're trying to grow their way into the top 5 with Cody Matthews here.
They're going to grow. Well done. I see what you did there. Up front, look at Walton trying to take a little look underneath. The speed of Owens, though, going to let him lead lap 24 there. And now those rear ends are getting a little bit loose out there. This finally some green flag racing going on. This field's starting to spread out. Looks like the top 7, top 8 still sticking together. Back of the field, a little bit more spread out. Jeff Pfeiffer is out of the race. 19 trucks right now running, 18 on the lead lap. Looks like Rich Schwingle, though, had a little bit of an incident. He appears to be off speed back there in that number 97.
Yeah, the truck looks pretty okay. It looks like he may have just lost a lap fixing up whatever damage he had. So he's just going to hope for a caution here so he gets back on that lead lap.
Yeah, he would be the lucky dog candidate because there is no one else out there that he's racing on the same lap for position. Up front, single file, continuing to just battle it out. I tell you what, let's, now hold on. Panzarella going the wrong way. All of a sudden, he's got Babcock coming. Makes you wonder, did Panzo burn up those tires? We know Zach has great short speed, but here we are in a little bit longer run. Makes you wonder, wow, look how much of the track Babcock's using up there, Joe.
Oh, look out.
Cowgill checking out the inside wall. Oh, and he was sliding sideways. You know what that means. That means front end damage.
Yeah, he got that inside wall. I can tell you from personal experience that inside wall is not something you want to ever touch with anything.
Well, Noah Craig said, oh, wait, it didn't work for him, did it?
I don't think it really ever works for anybody there, Mean Gene.
Nope. So the 31 is the victim there, Patrick Cowgill. Let's take a replay look. Cowgill on the outside. Looks like a little bit of plowing going on. And, actual contact, not net code. Andrew Bolander brings it up, touches him. Oh, and that was a dent right there in that left front of Cowgill. He's going to need to take that into the pit, get it checked out. Patrick Cowgill is in there getting it looked at as we speak. You can see other trucks taking this opportunity to bring it into the pits. I see Matt Tucker down in there, as well as Ricky Mandela Sr. Looks like tires going on a few of these rides.
Let's take a look at some of these pit times. It looks like some guys have taken tires here at some point. I'm looking at these pit times there. Mandela 15.22 on that pit stop. That's definitely 4 tires if you ask me. Looks like some of these other guys, though, they're in there a little bit for more of a long haul. I think they're fixing damage more than anything else.
Not where you want to be, but I tell you what, with only one fast repair available here in the Thursday Thriller Series, you want to do as much old school repair as you can to keep that thing in your pocket in case you're the victim of some late action shenanigans. We're on lap 31. We're scheduled for 151 here, and as Smokin' Joe mentioned earlier, lap 70, top 10 drivers will be awarded stage points. Ever important stage points. Couple of names missing here today, though, Joe. I'm looking out there, and I don't see AJ Benish, and I don't see Kyle Lynott. Couple of really big heavy hitters there to be missing a race.
Yeah, those are some big names, and it looks like another heavy hitter just dropped out of the race as well. Zach Panzarella is now being shown out of the race. That's not going to be good for his points haul again this week. We saw him drop out early after the stage at Nashville as well. He's definitely making this first part of the season an uphill battle for himself.
Not what you want to do when you're looking to defend the title. We'll see how she goes. The pace truck is out of the way. David Owens on the outside. That is your control truck. The number 8 Nas Ford inside. The number 18 Little Debbie Toyota of Sean Walton, pole sitter. Behind him, Babcock and Vulpes coming out of turn 4. Let's keep an eye on that number 8. And away we go. Great restart. He's going to bring Babcock with him. Babcock, Walton side by side. David Owens going to bring it down in through 2 and 3. It's Walton on the inside. Babcock with speed on the outside. Going to draw side by side. Boy, those trucks almost look identical except for the hood. Owens with the speed. Now Walton down, finding out that the apron is not the way to go. Babcock touches the wall as they come across the start-finish line. Great racing here at IRP for the second and third position. It's Walton and Babcock doing battle behind him. That was about as close as it gets, Joe.
Man, he made sure he cleared him off turn 2 there. Looks like Sean Walton maybe on a mission here to try and take the lead.
Behind them, Babcock's not done. He cut off Vulpes' nose to make sure he's going to continue the battle. Walton is running a crazy line. Look at him. He touched the apron again, and you could see that the 18 Toyota lost control there, but he is undeterred by the face of disaster and continues to push that 18 truck hard after the 8 Ford of Owens. Behind them, looks like Vulpes is going to touch the wall as he's side by side with Cody Matthews. That's for the 4th and 5th position. And there's still a lot of shuffling back there as we see the trucks continue to do battle. Rich Swingle did get that lucky dog to get back on the lead lap. 18 trucks now running, and all 18 on the lead lap. David Owens is leading here, lap 37, but Sean Walton is battling hard.
Yeah, here we go. He's got a really good run on the bottom this time. Let's see if he can slide him here into turn 3. I don't think he's going to get enough of him, Mean Gene. He's going to have to really try and fight to use that bottom line to his advantage. David Owens can have a huge advantage, though, of the momentum on the outside.
This is exactly what you talked about, Joe. That outside lane, going to be the preferred lane. for carry, speed, and entry. Also, got to start wondering what that's going to do to an individual's tires. Now, Walton starts to look outside, and that kind of opens the door for Babcock to sneak in. Babcock has to slow, and now we see Walton. He looks like the hunter right behind the 8 of Owens. Owens is the hunted. But with Babcock right there behind Walton, who is the hunted and who is the hunter? Great battling out here. These top 3 drivers are getting into it here on lap 39.
Yeah, we're seeing just how crazy the racing is here, how much momentum really matters. You saw Sean Walton try and make that bottom work to make a move and get around David Owens. It looks like he's given up on it for now and is just going to follow him. Maybe he'll try and do a little bump and run on him to get him a little bit loose, because I don't really think using that bottom, unless you can get enough momentum to slide somebody, is worth it.
Nope. Oh, you're going to see Babcock touch the wall, loses a little bit of momentum, but I expect he's going to make that up relatively quickly. Owens not being able to pull away at the moment, and he's using his truck to make sure that he keeps that lead. That thing's about as wide as Ryan Newman, and I don't mean the iRacing Ryan Newman. I meant the real one. It can make it continue to hold on to that lead. You know, you mentioned the old bump and run. That is a technique that's used here. Sean Walton has a rep to protect, that he might use a little bump to get by you. But Walton also known by other competitors to race you the way that you race him. So it will be interesting to see who was the last person to bump who between him and Owens as we continue to run. But, a great place to pass somebody as well, Joe, is in the pits, right? Let's go ahead and ride it out, see if we get a green flag. And if I can beat you there, I don't even need to worry about you out there on the track.
Oh!
Ooh, a little slick there. But one thing is for sure.
902 got a big hit with the wall. I don't know if you saw that there, Mean Gene.
Exactly what you said earlier, track position is so important. You can see passing is at a premium out here at IRP.
Yeah, and we also want to make sure we don't hit the wall. Like I was saying, the 902 looked like he absolutely plastered the wall out of 4 that last time. We want to avoid those self-inflicted wounds where we give ourselves damage, especially at a short track like this, where it's near impossible to get a lot of damage fixed without losing a lap. Look at this. Here we go, Mean Gene. He's trying to set it up again on the bottom.
But he loses so much momentum as he tries to make that hard turn. Owens all the way up, touches the wall just barely, and that's going to let Walton try to pull in. And now look at Babcock trying to come into the picture. Walton trying anything. He can't get back up in line. Babcock had that opportunity. That apron just not the way to go. If you can't slide your truck all the way up on exit, you just don't have any speed coming out of these turns.
Yeah, you can see it. Sean Walton now is having trouble holding on to second. Man, it's hard to tell. Is he battling David Owens for first or Robert Babcock for second? As he's going to come up and clear himself again there on the 2 truck as the 902 gets the wall behind him.
I was about to say, I think that battle made the 902 use the brown pant button, and he smacked into the wall. Behind him, Vulpes within striking distance, avoiding all of this insanity. But that 3-man battle is suddenly turning into 4 as we see the 902 of Cody Matthews put his nose right into this thing. 4 trucks all wanting to get to one position, as it seems like there's one very preferred line here at IRP. Completion of lap 48. Of course, lap 70 is going to determine those ever-important stage points. Oh, a little touch. Walton give him a little touch. He didn't spin him, but he might be letting him know, hey, bud, I'm a little faster, and I can't go much slower, because he's got a hungry rooster right behind him.
Yeah, I think Sean might be starting to get a little bit impatient here. David Owens is a very hard pass to make on short tracks, and Sean Walton's learning about it right now. And Sean, let's see if he's able to keep his cool and try and maybe do something a little bit later in this run, because, we want to make sure we don't lose our composure here and have something crazy happen.
No, Sean Walton, it's a kinder, gentler Sean Walton that we've been seeing these last few weeks. A more patient Sean Walton gave him that championship in the 6-pack. Behind him, Babcock does have, a few incident points to his name. So Walton has to be aware that if he gets caught up too much, he could eat a rear end full of the Babcock. Got to be careful. And behind them, Cody Matthews, second race. He's an unknown figure. You don't know what you're going to get out of Cody. Right now, you can see you're going to get speed and competitive racing. But as far as Woody Joey Logano, you just don't know until you're into this race later in the laps. Great racing action out here today. Everybody touching walls now. Tires looking like they're starting to become an issue there.
Yeah, looking at these lap times there, Mean Gene, that last lap by was a 22.82 for David Owens. That's almost a second off of his fastest lap. So these guys are really starting to fall off here on these tires about 50 laps in.
Yeah, no pit stops right now for the top six. Behind them, David Brenner, first car, Patrick Cowgill, the 31 in sixth. He was the first truck that came in for a pit stop. And it was a 25-second pit stop, so who knows? Look how low there Walton goes, below the apron, trying to find another line. Finally, side by side, but this is just not what he needs. His tires don't need it. Neither does the heartbeat of his owner. Battling Owens here. Behind them, Babcock waiting to see who's going to blink first. This is where racing gets into really high-stakes maneuvering, as a tiny error by either driver could cause that front row to have issues. Just side by side the last three laps, neither driver willing to blink. Exciting. Meanwhile, behind them, the 31 of Cowgill on the new tires gets by Joe Volpus to take over the fifth spot. This is some insanity out here. Who's going to blink first?
Yeah, right now I'd be concerned. These guys are getting tighter and tighter every lap. I think Sean Walton might be losing his patience on the bottom here right now. And it looks like he's going to clear him. Wow, look at that. Sean Walton going to take control of the race here on lap 57.
Well, to me, it looked like David Owens blinked first, took it a little bit high, maybe letting Walton lead. Doesn't want to be side by side with Babcock right behind them. Not comfortable with that. I think this is a smart move. And then David Owens also, after that clear, the very next turn, you could see Walton's front end got very close to Owens. Owens was forced to let up to not have contact. So savvy veteran moves there by the number 8 Nas Ford as he avoids the incident. So lets Winfield go for now. But now he's got to deal with the Babcock. That target of Babcock is right on that tailgate of Owens. We'll see if he can continue to hold that second place now that he's got another red and white truck up in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, and look at this. The 31 truck of of Cowgill here, Patrick Cowgill, is now around Cody Matthews for fourth. And right now he's trying to really close in. I think based on his speed, I think he has fresh tires. That would be my assumption based on how fast he's been going here. And right now he's seeing probably something he wants to see in front of him there. Babcock trying to get around David Owens.
Well, those two, though, are very close. Going to be difficult to fit the number 31 truck in between the 2 and the 8 of Babcock and Owens. Look at Babcock, though. He's like, okay, this worked for Sean. All I got to do is go under you. Why isn't it working? Meanwhile, and look at the block by Babcock. Does not want Cowgill to get by. Wow, Babcock changed his line in the middle of the turn. That's dangerous for a lesser driver, Joe. That's a one-way ticket to crash land.
Yeah, things are getting really tight.
Oh, he finished him off. And he finished him off. He tapped him. And then he finished him off. Oh, my. David Owens, radio silent at the moment.
Oh, man, that was rough right there. Babcock got into that left rear. It looked like coming off the corner. Just really tight racing. Didn't work out for either one of them. Looks like Cowgill might have gotten second out of this.
Oh, you know who's got to be sad about that? Has got to be Sean Walton. He got by clean. He was up leading, watching as they're getting smaller and smaller in the rearview mirror, and now they're going to restart. I would imagine there's going to be some tires put on some cars. But we're at lap 63. That's so difficult. Only 7 laps remaining. Gotta roll the dice here, I think, and just hope that you can hold on for track position. Even though Cowgill, he showed new tires can get you by, folks. Meanwhile, here it is. He comes in. This is, of course, the in-car Babcock. The one tap, and then, well, he did let off. The RPMs dropped significantly, so I'm assuming he just wasn't burying the needle.
Yeah, it just looks like
this angle's
really
vicious, though. Look at this. He's like, let me tap you, and then, you know what? Let's go ahead and, yeah.
Just a really bad break right there for everybody involved.
It is, because you want to be cautious. You tap the 8 and you want to slow down. You don't want to be bad. And then you look on the outside and you see Cowgill driving by you, and that's that temptation to hit the throttle to try to hold your position. And unfortunately for Owens, he was loosened in the way and received that second tap. You know, in the Marine Corps, they taught us about the old double tap, and Owens a victim right there. Owens in the pits right now getting a little bit of repair. You can see Matt Tucker ahead of him also. Tommy Fox making use of this opportunity. Fox Owens coming out. Here goes Tucker finally rolling. And you can also see the 16 of Stephen Bryan. 18 trucks still in the battle, and all 18 on the lead lap. You might be wondering who's your fast movers and shakers out there. Andrew Bolander is up 13 spots, currently being shown in the 7. He's at that number 11 right there. Next to him, David Brenner's up 12 spots. That's that number 22 black truck of David Brenner, the Manscaper. Is he the Manscaper? I don't.
Yeah, that is it. Yep.
So does that mean that Brenner is the Manscaper?
I mean, I don't know. That's a personal question, I think.
Maybe he runs the barber shop. That would be an awkward conversation with your barber. Yeah, go get the Manscaped. Right now, though, back up front, Sean Walton is your leader. Patrick Cowgill has made it through. Walton, of course, going to stay out. Why wouldn't you, with only a few laps to go until we get back to green.
Looking at that there, Mean Gene, looks like the top 10 all stayed out. So 11th on back, Haysevier on back. I think they're going to try and flip the stage here, and we're going to go green with only 3 to go on the stage. I think they're going to try and flip it here when we go to the stage caution after 3 laps.
Ooh, going to be exciting. Out of the way, and Sean Walton is your control vehicle. The 18 Little Debbie Toyota on the inside. Waiting to see what he's going to do. Cowgill finally in the front row next to him, ready to make it happen into the restart zone. And away we go. The 18, he's going to bring it up high to get that better angle. Cowgill and Babcock behind him. Then you can see Matthews and Vulpes. Cowgill and Babcock, they're going to rub. And Cowgill blinks, allowing Babcock to take over.
Caution.
Cowgill coming in heavy again. Oh, no, we're spinning in the back. The 16 of Stephen Bryan, he just brought that thing out of the pits. And it looks like he needs to bring it back in.
Yeah, that's not really a good break. That's going to end the stage here, actually, Mean Gene. So the way this is going to work is very confusing, actually, for this race. It's the last green flag lap completed. So when the field went back green and the restart happened, that's going to be the lap that technically counts here as your last stage lap. So Sean Walton going to win the stage with a good restart.
Sean Walton, that is 10 important points, and he gets 2 for the pole, and he gets 1 for leading a lap. My word, Sean Walton and the 18 team got to be thrilled, as he is just going to scoop up a lot of stage points here. And that's what you got to do. That is absolutely how you maintain position. So Sean Walton wins the stage. Patrick Cowgill takes second. Robert Babcock third. Cody Matthews fourth. Joe Vulpes fifth. David Brenner sixth. Andrew Bolander 7. Ricky Mandela Sr. 8. Chris Cowgill 9th, and Steve Captain Crunch Lewis going to finish 10th in the stage. So all those drivers will get some stage points. Exciting stuff. I had to do a little bit of math. I'm going to have to put my shoes back on, Joe. That was a tough equation.
Yep, so we're going to see just how this caution right here, the 16, looks like some weird contact with a 25. It looks like I don't know if it was like Netco that made it a little bit more aggressive than what it really was. A very strange incident, to say the least, there with just what happened. So that caution, of course, ends the stage. And like I was saying, those guys that flipped the stage have now done so. And now your new leader is Jonathan Casabier out of all this.
Well, I have a little insight on what happened. Stephen Bryan, that's the 16, he was talking about how Dr. Pepper was better than Mr. Pibb. And the thing Matt Tucker, yeah, you know, when you get an order from the sponsor, you don't have not a lot of wiggle room, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like David Owens out there in that Nas. Imagine if there was a Monster Energy drink truck.
Yeah, but don't you know, Mean Gene, about the photo?
No.
The photo of Dale Sr. with the Pepsi in his hand with a thumbs up?
Say it isn't so. No, say it isn't so, Joe.
Oh, it's so. It's so. I got the evidence.
Here we go. Jonathan Casabier is your leader. He's in the front row with Steve Fugay. Let's see what happens as they're going to bring it in. Fugay in the 94. 73 outside is Casabier. Behind them, Owens and Tucker. Behind them, Tommy Fox and Benton. Here we go into the restart zone, and away we go. Jonathan Casabier, great jump. Going to bring the 25 of Tucker with him. Fugay in third. There's Owens in fourth, Tommy Fox. And then it's a hornet's nest behind them of absolute insanity. Look at Babcock get bumped down. They're 3 wide back there. The Bucky's truck as well. There's Cowgill. There's the double aught. Lots of madness. Joe Volpus doesn't want to be part. Look at Fugay, and Mandela Sr.'s going to go tap the inside wall. Ooh, he's off the course, though, so no caution as of yet. Brings it up. Oh, you got to go slower than that if you want to draw a caution, Rick. That's not how you do it. He needs to go to the David Owens School of Driving if he wants to get a caution. Oh, man, you could have done better. Back up front, Jonathan Casabier. More wall tapping there from the Bucky's truck as he and Fugay side by side now battling for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Matthews still looking around the outside. Behind them, Joe Volpus. Babcock looking for a new line, decides to fall back in. Volpus, Fugay side by side doing battle here on lap number 75. Up front, Casabier with a 0.3 of a second. Oh, and it's a hard hit. Fugay into the wall twice. He hit it twice, Joe. Oh, Steve, that was a painful ride.
I don't see a caution coming out, though, Mean Gene. That's really shocking. He's going to tow. No caution.
No, that is a bad series of events there for the admin. Back there, look again as Cody Matthews taps the wall. I think that wall must have talked bad about Bucky's because Matthews continues to hit that thing about as hard as you can and keep your forward momentum. Little side-by-side action in front of them. You can see Cowgill, Fox, and the 18 Little Debbie. Oh, look at Walton, ride it up. That's going to put Cowgill close to the wall. And if Matthews hit the wall, I'm going to quit saying Matthews hit the wall. I mean, I sound like I have a stutter. Side by side, Tommy Fox battling with Sean Walton. Little bit of contact. They're going to continue to battle down that back stretch. Great action there for the 4th and 5th position between the two drivers. Cowgill peeking down low. Up front, Casabier's lead has diminished as now Matt Tucker and the Mr. Pibb behind the daily driver 73 of Jonathan Casabier here on lap number 79. Bringing it into 3. Casabier using that preferred line. Tucker thinks about going low, changes his mind. Those two fellas a second ahead of the rest of the field, and you can see the hornet's nest as it goes behind them, slinking out of that turn, now bringing it into turn number 2. This is some great racing. Owens leading a pack of hornets trying to chase down our 2 leaders.
Yeah, look at that. Sean Walton, he doesn't want to sit behind David Owens for another run, I don't think, and wants to take control of the race. He wants to get up there and take control of it from Casabier and Tucker. He looks like he's got no patience for him this time. Used him up a little bit there in 3 and 4. Let's see what happens down here in 1 and 2, because Owens is going to get that run, and they're making more contact.
It's one thing to follow and be side by side when you're in the lead, but when you're in 3rd and 4th, those points are drifting away. You're watching those 2 drivers just leave. It's 2-second gap now between the 2 guys in front and the 2 guys in 3rd and 4th.
They're making a lot more
now
contact.
Look at that. Owens got underneath, pushes Walton forced up high, and now Cowgill's going to be side. Oh, and a touch. What a save by David Owens. Owens brings it down, and he missed. He missed him.
Oh, Babcock's around.
Poor Tommy Fox. Oh,
Tommy
it looked
Fox
like
might have some terminal damage off that one too.
Oh no, Walton made contact with Owens. Owens went up. Looked like Owens was coming back down to make contact with Walton, and poor Tommy Fox got in the way. Unfortunate sequence of events.
That was probably the most insane thing I've seen at a short track here in a while. Some tempers starting to flare between Sean Walton and David Owens, though, there as well, is what it looked like to me.
Oh, the mic is lit up. They're chirping. They're chirping. You think it's a hockey game as the two of those really giving each other the old 1-4. Woo! Up front, Jonathan K. Sabir and Matt Tucker cannot be happy. They were pulling away from this group.
Yeah, let's see what's causing all this radio chatter there, Mean Gene. So this is the cause of the caution here. So this is Babcock behind all that chaos. There he goes. He just gets turned trying to avoid all the chaos in front of him. And then here it is, Mean Gene.
So he touches him once, touches him twice. And now watch, Owens does a save, and he goes, oh, yeah? Well, guess what I got for you? Oh, I missed him. And poor Tommy Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like David Owens gets tunnel vision here, though, too, with it. So the caution's out here.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that's a light touch.
Okay. Just give him a little piece of his mind.
That's a light touch, you know. We've seen worse.
Look at this hit the 57 takes in front of the two, though.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Tommy just nowhere. Oh, and then look at that. I didn't see that. Bolander spins Babcock as well. That's painful.
Yeah, I think that was trying to avoid the 57 and the 8 and all the other nonsense going on in front of him.
So basically, the breakdown was, Walton gets behind him. And then Owens responds. And then Tommy Fox gets hit. And then Owens responds. And we get a caution. That is unfortunate for everybody involved. So let's see how that works out. Let's take a peek down in the pits. Tommy Fox, is he going to be able to keep this thing going? He is being shown a lap down, and I think he parked it, Joe.
Yeah, I think he said he had enough. I think that's what happened there.
It is really unfortunate. Tommy Fox was having a top 5 kind of day and just gets caught up in a battle between two drivers of which he had nothing to do. Jonathan K. Sabir in the 73, now on the inside. Matt Tucker on the outside. Second row is going to be Cowgill and Winfield, and Owens is right behind Walton. Let's keep a look. The 73 control truck going to bring it into the restart zone, and away we go. Tucker doesn't go fast enough for Walton. Walton says, I got Owens behind me, man. You got to go. It's the 73 of Walton, of K. Sabir, the 25 of Tucker. Cowgill, Walton side by side. Owens still behind Sean Walton. Brings it in as hard as he can. Cody Matthews on the inside lane as well, doing battle. Great restart here on lap number 88. Case of beer, he's got that preferred line. Meanwhile, the 25 of Tucker rolling it on the bottom. Walton trying to get away. Fourth and fifth, Owens and Cowgill side by side. Cody Matthews behind them. And hey, look, it's Rich Swingle in the 97 up into seventh after being a lap down. Welcome back to the party, pal. Meanwhile, the 22 of Brenner manscaping behind them. Lewis Vulpes, that's your top 10. Look at the skill of Walton as he takes over the second position. No one can make that apron work except Sean Walton. Now Owens looking below Tucker, but he's going to have to hold position. I don't know how how Walton held that and had the speed coming out of that turn to get by Tucker there.
Yeah, he just did a great job diving it in there, making it work. taken second place, and now he's got his eyes set on Jonathan Casabier for the lead.
Yeah, he had the fastest single lap. He had the fastest practice laps, and now he's got the 73 of Casabier in his sights. That daily driver's 73 of Casabier, though, we've seen him win races. He's no stranger to the front row, but now he's got Walton Danger behind him. Tucker in third, Owens, Cowgill, single file, and it's a caution. We're going to get a caution here on lap number 92 as Casabier continues to get points. Behind them, no. Looks like the 00 Info Wars Ford.
Chevy.
Chevy, thank you. 00 Info Wars Chevy of Michael Benton with some difficulties.
Yep, that was going to be your cause of the caution there, Mean Gene. Let's see if we can get it pulled up for you, as a lot of the leaders are coming down pit road here. So you see a lot of these guys, Casabier, Sean Walton, Tucker, Owens, Cowgill, both Cowgills coming down, Mandela, Bolander, Bryan, they're all coming down for fuel. The guys that came down last caution here are staying out, along with a few others, Cody Matthews, Swingle, Brenner, staying out, and then the guys that pitted under the last caution, Joe Vulpes took fuel only on lap 84, and Babcock took 4 tires, it looks like, as well on the last caution on lap 84. So those guys stay out. So let's pull up that replay there for you, Mean Gene, and see what happened to Mike Benton.
So Benton in the double lot, you can see right ahead of him, this 97 to Swingle, and just gonna come around with it. Getting on the throttle a little bit too soon. Oh, no.
Yeah, you can see he's trying to get it to go forward. I don't think he knows that wall juts out like that, and he's just kind of stuck in it. And then once he throws it in reverse, it brings out that caution.
There you see, he went to school. He knows how to bring out a caution. Good job there by the 00. Oh, no, and then you got more incident points for driving on the grass. You got to hate that. That always makes me mad when I wreck, Joe, and then I think it's over, and I barely clip the grass, and it says -2 for driving off-road. Really frustrating.
Yeah, but isn't that a good thing for that Sunday Cup team that's coming up there, Mean Gene?
Hey, man. I haven't heard from him what they're going to name it. They're leaning also towards, because there's a couple of names. Incident Point Racing is sexy, but 4X Veterans is also streamlining on social media. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly what happens. It's going viral. So get your T-shirts now. I think they've named Zach Clausen as their captain. So. Expecting big things out of that team next season. Hey, big things is a subjective term with no definition.
Yeah, you viewers at home, you guys can take that in whatever way you want to take it.
Hey, it's exciting, okay? I promise you that. Up front, Cody Matthews now being shown as your leader on the inside, the 902 Bucky's Chevrolet. Rich Swingle outside. Brenner, Vulpes, and Lewis not pitting last time. Behind them, Babcock, the first guy that pitted on 84. Away we go. Look at this. The speed of Swingle. Rich is going to take the lead. It's side by side behind him, Vulpes and Matthews. Oh, and Matthews is off speed.
Oh, he's pitting. I think he got a penalty there. I think he jumped the start. I think he hit that gas pedal too soon.
No, this is devastating, especially under green flag situation. I mean, I like to go to Buc-ee's as much as the next guy, but not under a green flag. Oh, unfortunate. We'll see. He needs a caution to come out quick to get back. Did the drive-through. He's back on the track. But painful for Cody Matthews as those leaders are creeping up on him. He's got to get that thing rolling, Joe.
Yeah, he does. Richard Swingle, though, is somebody that's not having a problem getting it rolling. Look at him go. He's got the lead here on coming to the start of lap 100. He's doing a great job out there, Mean Gene.
Fastest truck on the track. Last lap, 22.21. That lap, 22.27. So Swingle laying down some burners right now. Behind him, Joe Vulpes, multiple-time winner, 2-time MRL champion, chasing him. Then Babcock, Owens, Matt Tucker, lots of speed. Patrick Cowgill, top 3 in points. Sean Walton, 2 poles so far this year. David Brenner, case of beer. Bolander, top 10. Action heating up. Look at Vulpes now. Going to look outside Swingle. He's got momentum. He's got that preferred line. Babcock taps the brakes. That's going to throw off Owens, throw off Tucker, throw off Cowgill. A little bit of a hiccup. Swingle, Vulpes, side-by-side drag racing. Vulpes with momentum, going to dive it around the outside. Holds that lane. Your new leader is the 13 of Joe Vulpes. He's got his Ford up front. Meanwhile, Swingle going the wrong way, makes contact with Tucker. Going to fall back to 4th, side-by-side with Cowgill. Walton comes in, and he almost makes contact. Cowgill wiggling. Swingle, oh, my word, it's just a madhouse. 3 wide, Joe.
Yeah, we're going 3 wide. Looks like the 25 is going to try and clear him coming off turn 2. And he clears the 97 into 3, it looks like. Man, Swingle right now not having a good time on those older tires. He's not able to hold on over these guys. Pretty much everybody behind him took freshies. Looks like, Babcock took freshies on lap 84. You see Owens, I believe he took right sides on lap 93. 4 freshies for Cowgill, lap 93. 2 tires, Sean Walton, lap 93. All these guys got at least right sides on lap 93.
Yeah,
except for Vulpes on no tires at all since the stage break. And then Babcock, 4 tires, lap 84.
Looks like Swingle's finally found a partner back there, as David Brenner also last took tires, and Steve Lewis as well, back on 69 and 70. So I think he's kind of settled into the speed of the tires in that position. That's going to be back in 9, 10, and 11 for those 3 drivers. Up front now, Vulpes doing battle with the Rooster as they continue here on lap 106. David Owens looking for his 3rd win in a row in 3rd. Sean Walton slips by Cowgill. Great battle there as Cowgill draws back side by side. Walton on the inside. Light touching going on. It's like a PG-13 movie, nothing too severe. And then a little gap back to Tucker, Casabir, and Bo Lander. That outside lane, Joe, just seems to be the way to find that speed. And with trucks in front of you, you're just never going to be able to get clear.
Yeah, but if Sean Walton does get clear of that 31, then what's going to happen there with David Owens as the next truck in front of him? How's that going to go over?
I don't think we're going to see anything happen there. Walton and Owens, there was a little burp, a little bit of an explosion of emotion, but both these drivers have won multiple races, and winning a race more important than making a point. That will be soon forgotten with the amount of races that these fellows are on the track with.
We're about to find out if you're
I have no doubt.
correct.
I have no doubt that Walton will be a professional, and Owens as well. Will just race him. Owens, a hard pass anywhere. He doesn't drive Walton any different than anyone else, as he is just trying to move forward and win. One preferred lane right here. You can see all the way back to the 11 of Bolander in 8th position. All these fellas kind of following single file. Then you go back to Brenner in 9th, and that's where those older tires come into effect. So you can see just how quick those top 8 guys are. And then there's the boys that didn't take tires. Oh, Cowgill loose. Cowgill loose. A case of beer almost made contact. Cowgill's still rolling.
Yeah, he's still rolling, so that's not going to be a caution there, Mean Gene.
That was very unfortunate right there. Cowgill did not need that to happen to him as he was up there battling for that top 5. Recovers quickly, but painful circumstances there for Cowgill there. Up front, Vulpes and Babcock still continue to battle. Behind them, Owens and Winfield. The volcano is bubbling. Tucker, case of beer, now side by side. Tucker going to get back ahead of him, but look at the 73 continuing to just peek his nose down there and see what he can do. And Bolander behind them. Oh, side by side for the lead. And Babcock rode him up high. DeVolpis loses the lead now to the Rooster on lap 114. Great racing here. Babcock now in the preferred lane, gets to choose his angle. First time we've seen him up front. Let's see if he can run away from the rest of the gang. Meanwhile, speaking of the gangs all here, Walton and Owens side by side again with Joe Volpis. Joe, you know what's happening there is I think Volpis is looking in his rearview mirror instead of worrying about the race because he wants to see the action. That's almost 3 wide.
Yeah, Joe's on those older tires, and he's really starting to pay the price for it. We saw Swingle pay the price for it earlier. It looks like Volpis is starting to pay the price for it now, as Sean Walton going to be the benefactor out of all this, gets second place, get around both Owens and Volpis, as now Owens gets around Volpis this time. So good move by Sean to sneak through and get third, as David Owens going to try really hard to not keep third from Volpis there, as he got the wall out of turn 2.
Meanwhile, Volpis fading. Now
he's gonna drop to the back of this group, I think, pretty quickly with those guys with fresh tires behind him.
Yeah, that's going to be Bolander, Tucker, and K. Sabir trying to sneak on by that number 13 Ford of Volpis. Up front, Babcock, he's making good use of this clean air as he now has an 0.8 of a second lead. He was 7/100ths faster than Walton. That last lap, Walton was 1/100th of a second faster. So we'll see exactly how this is going to unfold as the Rooster trying to hold off the pole setter in this race here at lap 118. Owens, Bolander, Tucker, K. Sabir, Volpis finally falling back. Got that outside lane, so it's going to be another half a lap or so. Whoa, let's just touch the wall. And then finally, the 73 going to fall right up into line, take over that 6th position. And now Volpis going to do a little triage. Behind them, though, he has to be happy thinking that Brenner and Swingle both are on older tires than he is. The 10th position held by Patrick Cowgill. Cowgill got a little bit of contact earlier in the race with that group of Cowgill and Tucker, K. Sabir, and Bolander, and Cowgill off pace. I imagine he took a little bit of damage there, but good to see him still running. Patrick Cowgill currently in the 10th spot there, battling Rich Swingle for 9th.
Yep, he's starting to make a bit of a recovery, but just so far behind. I think he really just needs a caution at this point, as do these guys on the older tires. Volpis, Brenner, Swingle, they all need a caution as well to get back into this race.
Yeah, we're on lap 121 right now, scheduled for 151. So 31 laps remaining. I believe the boys do have enough fuel to make it to the end, but
Correct.
Spread out like this, you would hope, if you're one of the drivers that you just named, Joe, that you'd see that caution. Meanwhile, Babcock going to come up on a little bit of lap traffic. You can see Steve Bryan there trying to hold off Babcock. This is to stay on the lead lap. Bryan not going to do battle, though. He's a much better gentleman than I, and he's just going to let Babcock go right around. Here comes Walton as well. Very gentlemanly there of the 16 NASCAR radio truck. Babcock, Walton battling for the lead. Owens is 0.7 of a second behind Walton. And then you can see Bolander, Tucker, K. Sabir all equally spread out. Joe Volpis behind them, and then Brenner. And now Cowgill, you're right about Cowgill. Last lap, 23-second flat, only 0.1 of a second off the leaders. So Cowgill finally back into rhythm. That was something you talked about as well, Joe, right? Finding the rhythm of this track. And any little incident can just throw you off for multiple laps.
Yeah, short track racing is all about rhythm. You know, where you got to get your braking points. It's almost kind of like driving a mini road course when you think about it. You know, you got to think about where you got to brake. You got to think about where you got to get on the throttle, how much throttle to apply, how it's affecting your tires. There's so much to consider every time you go into a corner at a road course. And just like a road course, short tracks have that rhythm as well.
You know what I think would be fun? Let's go inside of Sean Walton's car. I wonder what it feels like to be in there with the 18. Maybe he's got some little Debbies for the viewers at home. So this is the in-truck car cam of Sean Walton. Going to take a little peek under the two of Babcock. Babcock has that momentum. Walton has not been afraid to try different lines. You know, that's something I can say about what he's done here tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely trying different lines, and you really have to try and do that if you want to win at a track like this. You got to find a way to make that bottom work, I think, if you want to win here tonight. Because you can't really let the leader's really not going to get. Oh
no! The double out of Benton, nowhere to go with both leaders there on him. That's going to bring out a caution on lap number 128. Curious how that's going to be ruled. Oh, and then he gets another 1X for driving off track. I hate when that happens. So the double out.
That's a lot of damage. Look, he's sparking a lot there, Mean Gene.
Oh, the double out. InfoWars Chevrolet and Mike Benton not having a good one. Gonna bring it around here. 23 laps remaining. I was about to mention the lap traffic. You could see Cody Matthews was about to go a lap down. Mike Benton was fighting for his life to not go down too. But he did.
Yeah, you can see now everybody's going to come down pit road. This is a consensus decision. Come take some tires and get some track position out of this here. So Sean Walton, you see him pull into his pit stall. David Owens, Matt Tucker, Vulpes, they're all coming in their pit stalls here. Let's see what the strategy is for these guys. Right sides go on for most of them. Let's see if anybody takes two tires. I think we got a two-tire taker there, Mean Gene. Oh, we got multiple two-tire takers, I think.
Oh, look at Lewis, Steve Lewis, the captain. Wow, lots of folks. It looks like Quesabir and Vulpes and Steve Lewis as well deciding two tires is the way to go for this 22-lap shootout.
And you got two people that stayed out altogether. Patrick Calgill, Ricky Mandela Sr., not even going to decide to put tires on at all here.
I mean, at this point, if you're those two guys, you're thinking there's going to be another caution, right? You're thinking, let's do 10 laps and then put on freshies and see where we are. I don't know what else they're thinking because they're going to get 8 alive.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where they're at. Let's see if we can get that replay spooled up as to what's put us in this chaos to begin with here for you, Mean Gene. Here we go.
You know, another thing we didn't mention is the damage on Babcock. Ooh, that's a nice T-bone right there. But like the front left of Babcock made pretty heavy contact.
I wonder if he used a faster pair there. Let's take a look at this pit time while you're watching the wreck. Yeah, I think they used a faster pair, or maybe he got away with no damage.
I don't know. But yeah, that's painful. That's painful right there. So Benton not having a good one. Babcock got into that back there. Nowhere for Benton to go. I mean, those fellas were side by side. He was getting split like a banana, and nothing that he could do about that. Up front, Cowgill, now your leader. Mandela beside him. These two gentlemen last pit on lap 93. So they are 40 laps into those tires. About to go green, keeping an eye on the 31 of Cowgill. Behind them, Quesabir, Vulpes, and Sean Walton. Quesabir and Vulpes, of course, with the two tires. Walton and Owens with the 4, waiting to go into the restart zone. The Cowgill, away we go. Look at that jump. He's 3 ahead. Mandela falls off, and that takes the outside lane out. Mandela slow again. Let's Vulpes go guy. Up front, Cowgill, Quesabir, Sean Walton now. Vulpes side by side. Quesabir, Cowgill, touch. Inside lane belongs to Quesabir. Cowgill already going backwards. Sean Walton now looking to put the moves on the 31 of Cowgill. Up front, Jonathan Quesabir is going to lead lap number 134. Then it's Walton. Then it's Vulpes.
Caution.
And this is what Cowgill wanted at this point. It's a little earlier than he wanted, but he's going to be able to take the tires. They're only going to be a few laps fresher. Not sure if that's a big deal. Looks like the 16 of Brian and perhaps the 88 of Lewis involved. Let's go to that replay. So that's Brian in the back. You can see Cody Matthews just ahead of them. Brian. Oh, no. That's the 03 of...
The 03.
Chris Cowgill, brother of Patrick, who was leading the race on that race. And there's a one-time for off track.
You're a big fan of pointing out those 1Xs there, Mean Gene.
I love the X's.
Are you really? I bet you do.
I bet you do. You know my favorite X?
What's that?
Triple X. So, off track there for a moment. Gets back on. Case of beer is still being shown as your leader. Sean Walton behind him. 16 laps to go. And tires now very interesting. This extra caution, these slower laps are going to spare Case of beer that deterioration of the older tires. So his 2 tires not killing him at the moment. Behind him, the 4-tire recipient of Sean Walton. Patrick Cowgill choosing to stay out there in third, but he last pit on lap 93, 42 lap old tires. Then you got Joe Volpus in fourth on 2 tires. And then here we go, Owens with his 4, Mandela in 6th. Lots of people have taken a few pit stops. Look at that. Look like Steve O'Brien with 8 is going to be our champion of pitting the most today.
Yeah, 8 pit stops, but you know what? He's still going strong even after that caution. He's in 13th place on the lead lap.
Lead lap, baby. That's all you can do, especially in such a short track like this. It's easy to get off pace and get eaten up by the faster drivers. So great work here by everybody. 15 trucks still on the lead lap. Mike Benton still rolling, only guy a lap down. So the double aught could be your lucky dog if we get another caution. Lap number 137. We're going to 151. So that's about, 14 laps
14
remaining?
To go. 14 to go, and we're going to go green with 13 to go. Well, that's why you take a look at the tower on the screen there, Mean Gene. It tells you how many laps are left in the race.
Nah, I'm old. I can't look that high. My neck don't work like that.
Oh, you don't have that. You don't have that Joe Amato flexibility going on there.
That's right. It's just not going to happen. All righty, here we go. We are about to take it green. This should take us home as we are geared up for our final run here at IRP. Case of beer inside truck is going to be the controlled truck waiting to see. And away he goes. Great jump there. Going to bring Cowgill and Walton side by side behind him. Owens, Volpus side by side. Babcock, and then Mandela. Very tight. Walton makes contact with Cowgill. Cowgill side by side with Owens. Owens dives down. That's going to open the door. Volpus touches the rear of Cowgill. Mandela sliding the wrong way. Owens, Babcock, Volpus, contact. And let's see if he does it. Just pull up and go slow. There it is. Caution comes out. See? That's how you do it, Joe.
Oh, man. Another caution. And we only got 12 coming to 11 to go. Jonathan Casebeer's right side tire strategy looking better and better by the minute. It's really just coming down to if he can control the race on these restarts. I don't think Sean Walton's going to have the time that he needs to get it done.
And if you're Cowgill as well, continuing to roll the dice. All he's got to do is block as much track as possible, and maybe they'll back up behind him, cause another wreck, and just needs to lead 1 lap on that third restart by the end. But it's going to take a lot of blocking for Cowgill if he wants that to pay off. Gosh, he has been out there on those things for 49 laps.
You know what I noticed there, Mean Gene, if once we get the replay here again, notice what happens there with the rear of the 8 and where it ends up when it gets sideways.
Okay. Dink.
I think that 2 truck's got some damage there, Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Let's go take a closer look at them and see if we can see anything on the front of that truck.
That's unfortunate. Remember, Babcock did make contact with Ben.
Oh, look at it. Look at that left front there. Let's get a really good view of it here. Hold on.
Yeah, Babcock forced to use that fast repair, I believe, with his contact with Benton. And now look what he's riding around with. Looks like a weapon. That thing might take flight.
Yeah, that might cut down somebody's tire if he hits him right.
It was a road warrior, a Mad Max out there on the track. So we're rolling it. Lap 143. We're on lap
Still under
143 right
caution.
now, so about 9 laps to go. One more caution going to go around before we take this thing green. Up front, Case of Beer has got to feel good. He's on 2 tires, but he only needs this thing to hold on for about 8 laps if we stay green. Behind him, Sean Walton. Walton, though, has shown the ability to dive it down and pass people on the apron. He's the only guy I've seen do it today. The real question will be, how much space will he have with Cowgill and Babcock behind him? Cowgill, very excellent driver at restarts, even on old tires. I don't know if he's going to give Walton the space to look down there and maybe make a move. Behind them, Vulpes, 2 tires, and then Andrew Bolander, shown great speed, but kind of deep in the pack, and with only 8 laps to make those moves might be difficult for the 11 from that outside third row to get up in there. Brenner, Mandela, Tucker, Swingle, Cody Matthews, all these drivers would love to see a gap in the space in front of them, but on this tight IRP track, it could be too much for those fellas at this stage of the race. Pace truck is off. Keeping an eye on the 73 of Case of Beer. He is your control truck. Rolling it out of turn 4, looking for the restart zone. Gonna hit it. Walton on the outside, and away we go. Oh, Walton gets fooled, has to slow up. Mandela has to hit the brakes. Swingle into him. Big cloud of dust in the back. Outside row just got taken to the bank.
Oh!
What a restart by... No! Look at the speed of Mandela into the wall. Where did he... Oh, he lost a sponsor. That's going to cost him money.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Look at that.
That's
Look at
a
that.
lot
His
of damage.
the sponsor decal fell right off of his tailgate. They're not going to pay him.
Yeah, I don't think the sponsor's going to be happy with the driver there.
No. Stephen Bryan and Mandela went for a ride in the grass.
See if we can pull up and see what happened there for you, Mean Gene.
Brutal.
Oh!
So that was the restart. Yeah, that's what I talked about. Mandela went the wrong way. Swingle and Steve Lewis made contact. Look, you can already see the rear end of Mandela is jacked. And he can't hold the turn, and he just comes down right into the path of Bryan. Nothing anybody can do.
Look at that rear bumper fly around there. Somebody's going to get a nice souvenir of some Animal House customs to go home with.
Yeah, look at that. Go back to, can you change that to Swingle angle? I'm curious who else got caught up in that mess.
It was just the 2 of them pretty much that got the brunt of the damage here. Behind them, you can just see the little bit of accordion that happens. It's just pretty much Lewis and the 97 there as well. So the captain gets his part of this
Gets his
as
crunch.
well.
The captain crunches. Because I did see Swingle's rear end change from clean to crooked.
Yeah, and this is of course then the part where the caution happens, and not a good break for Mandela. He's going to be the one that really loses out of all of it. He's now a lap down in 15th.
Can we take a look at the front end of the 88 of Lewis? I'm curious. Yeah, because he went, well, it ain't bad, just a little.
I've had that kind of damage in the middle, and it's usually for some reason does something dumb like hurt the horsepower. So be on the lookout, maybe some radiator damage, maybe it blows up, maybe he's down a couple miles an hour. You never know. That kind of damage is a little dangerous.
Wow. It sounds like when I'm talking to my dad about my car. I'm like, hey, Dad, the car sounds funny. And by the end of his diagnosis, he's telling me it's broke and, buy a new one. Just gets worse as we go. It's like looking at WebMD when you just have a soft cough. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. Don't go there. You know how it always ends. It always ends badly. It's like, oh, you have a cough? You're going to die tomorrow. Don't go to WebMD. All right, up front. Looks like Jonathan Case of Beer got to be loving this strategy of his. Sean Walton on the inside. He'd love to duck down. Now he is in position to make move on the apron. Babcock, Cowgill behind them, and then Vulpes in the 11 of Andrew Bolander. We'll see. Winfield, Walton up in there. He's got the freshest tires. He's excited to make the move. And away we go. Case of Beer gets a jump, but it's not as big as he would have liked. Cowgill off pace on the outside. Walton looking down low. Behind them, side by side racing. And now Cowgill off pace. Bolander, Babcock, Volpus all get together. Walton in the Case of Beer. Go up high. Walton pushes the 73 up as high as he can to take the lead. Crossover attempt now by 73. He doors Walton. They're racing off side by side. Case of Beer still taking it up high. These boys are racing rough, Joe. Now Babcock looks down low. He ARCA breaks both of them and takes the lead. Sean Walton gets ARCA break. And the Babcock roost tonight. God. And Walton takes out his aggression on Case of Beer.
Oh, what a finish. What just happened? I don't know.
Wow. It must be dawn. It must be dawn somewhere because the rooster is crowing. Robert Babcock does it. Comes down low, waits till the last lap, and strikes. And look at the celebration. He's spinning them here. Spinning it around. Here comes the DDI drivers to celebrate with him. Oh, there you go. You can.
I don't know if that DDI driver's very happy with him. There was a lot that happened there on the last lap, Eugene. Let's pull it up for you.
It was a three-wide ARCA. It was a three-wide ARCA break. It was awesome.
There's a lot that happened there, though, Mean Gene. We actually missed a wreck that happened as they took the white flag. No caution came out for it. The race just ended up going. The race just ended up going green because the white flag beat out any sort of caution that would have came out. So let's pull that up for you here. So this is the wreck that happened coming to the white flag.
All right. So Tucker hits the 22 of Brenner, and they have a party.
That was a huge hit.
Look at that. Brenner blocking him. He's like, no, bro, we ain't going nowhere. And look at this. Those two battling. Babcock brings it down low, and this is his moment, and he knows it. He went from being a rooster to a wolf in the hen house, takes it down low. ARCA breaks the 30, the 73. The 73 takes out Walton. Walton can't see over the car of the 73. I bet he had no clue that Babcock made that move. He just thought Case of Beer destroyed him. What a move. What a move by Babcock. You got to pick your moments, and the rooster picking his moment right there steals a win from Case of Beer and Sean Walton. What a great move there by the number 2 Target Toyota. First win of the year for Toyota. Look at Case of Beer giving him the mean eye.
First win of the year for anybody not named David Owens over here.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. God, what a great finish there. I mean, I'm sure not every driver would agree, but for my part, and hopefully the fans at home, they just saw some great short track racing right there. I mean, I can see Denny Hamlin's teeth telling us that's short track racing.
Oh my goodness, I just don't even know what to say anymore there, Mean Gene. I do think we can get our race winner in here for us to get a little interview and tell us what he thinks happened and get his whole perspective on what happened there at the end of the race for us.
All right. Well, I don't see him there. I see him. Oh, it must be dawn because the rooster is crowing. Robert Babcock, our winner tonight. How you feeling?
I feel good.
Man, you're better than good, my friend. There was a lot of foolishness on that track. But in the end, the moment came, you dove it down. Were you worried it wasn't going to work? I mean, that was high risk, high reward.
I kind of pushed it right in that turn and hope it sticks. Pretty much.
Well, it did. And little light contact there with the 73, a Case of Beer, but that's short track racing. Rubbin is racing. Now, Robert, we were a little worried about you because you had some contact earlier on. When you were side by side for the lead, you made contact with Michael Benton, that 00 truck. Do you remember that incident?
Yep.
Now, did that force you to use your fast repair?
Yes.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Babcock was getting split like a banana, or Michael Benton getting split like a banana, ended up going high. And then later, you had contact again that caused you some left front damage. Yes?
Yes.
How,
But
how bad was it?
it made the truck a little tight, but it wasn't too bad enough to not race for to try to get a win right there.
Well, it was exciting from my perspective to watch that thing unfold. What for you, was there any moment in the race that just stood out as being tough, scary, fun? What's a highlight you take away from tonight's victory?
Trying to be patient and trying to get in the right spot at the right moment of time.
Well, you, my friend, were absolutely in the right spot at the right time, and that's called victory lane. And that's where we were looking at this replay right now, watching that number 2 Toyota Target spinning. Great victory here tonight at IRP. First person not named David Owens to win. And most importantly, you punch your way into the playoffs, my friend. That's got to feel good.
It does feel good. I said pretty much David and me kind of have a thing going here. Spin each other out and end up winning somehow. But
you're going to have competition now, though. I think Sean Walton might want to spin David Owens out a little bit, too.
I'm not worried about Sean, so that's the only thing.
I love it. Really good, exciting racing out here today, Robert. Such a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Anybody that you would like to give a shout out to before we head out?
I want to give a shout out to KCBR. I feel bad for Dorham there, but happening. I want to hope my friend here, Plant, comes along and join us in this truck season. But I keep my friends, and Andrew Bolander is probably going to win the next one.
Ooh, you're here to hear first. He's calling it. He's calling it for Andrew. You know what, though? You need to tell Andrew to try to qualify. Maybe if he starts up in the front, it'll be easier instead of having to, pass 25 cars to get to the win. You think you could convince him to qualify next time?
I think he's fine starting all the way in the back. Make it more interesting.
It's true. He's talking about the number 11 of Andrew Bolander, always giving us a show out here. You got to love watching it. Robert, that win is going to jump you up 2 spots. You're third in the regular season points. And most importantly, punch your way to the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rooster, Robert Babcock, your winner tonight here at IRP. Thank you so much, Robert. Have a great night, brother. You earned it.
You too. Have a good night.
What a race, Joe. I mean, that man waited for the perfect moment. Case of beer and Walton all involved in their own story, and they had no idea that they were just supporting characters, and the main character was Robert Babcock, and he swung in and swooped up the victory. Final race results on the board. Babcock, of course, winning in that number 2 Toyota. Andrew Bolander swings in for second. Not too bad. Third place, Case of Beer holds on in that 73 truck. Patrick Cowgill as well. Wow, he made those tires last. Joe Volpus, 5th. Sean Walton going to fall back to 6th. Cody Matthews going to get 7th. Rich Swingle 8. Captain Crunch Steve Lewis 9. And then Steve Bryan going to get 10th. That guy, it looks scary, but like you said, he held on, turns it into a top 10. What a great day for the number 16 driver.
Yeah, great day for him, but a couple of guys that didn't have such a great day. David Owens, not the finish he would have wanted, gets 11th out of this race after winning the first 2 races. Chris Cowgill couldn't get a top 10 out of his great performance today, gets 12th. And then you saw the guys that got involved in that wreck there at the end. David Brenner, race over on the last lap, just like it was in the Xfinity Series here 2 weeks ago. He finishes 13th. 14th will go to Ricky Mandela. We saw all the issues he had towards the end of the race. He'll be disappointed to only get 14th out of it. Same with Matt Tucker up front for a lot of this race, gets 15th. Michael Benton, of course, we saw he had a lot of issues there in the second half of the race. wasn't able to get back on the lead lap at the end of it, only able to get to 3 laps down, finishes 16th. Steve Fugay, we saw his race end early due to all the damage that he had. He finishes 30 laps down. You see Tommy Fox, we saw his race end as well from the feud between the 8 truck and the 18 truck. He finishes 18th, 70 laps down. Zach Panzarella, not really sure what happened to him, but he dropped out early, finishes 19th here tonight, and we saw Jeff Pfeiffer pack it up early as well with that second caution of the day. He will round out your 20 truck field here tonight.
I'll tell you what, you can hold me to this. We're going to see Pfeiffer on the podium before the end of the year. He is going to put it together, and we are going to see him. He's just too fast in practice. You know, he'll do a 20-lap segment, and we'll find him up there as one of the top speeds. So I'm still keeping an eye on him. I'm not giving up hope. We're not in Ty Gibbs territory with him yet. Let's look at the season standings now. Patrick Cowgill going to move up and take over the lead from David Owens based on today's performance. David Owens, of course, finishing back in 11th, kind of slipped him back, whereas Cowgill with his 4th place finish. But that thing is tight, 5 points separating those two fellas. And, you know, we talked about stage points and bonus points. 11 points of difference. Cowgill has 11 more stage points, and that's going to give him that 6-point lead over David Owens. Robert Babcock powering behind his win tonight here at IRP, going to jump up 2, and he also is into that playoff. He's into the playoffs and now part of the regular season conversation. Joe Volpus, Mr. Consistency, going to be 4th. Sean Walton is 5th. And look at Mandela sneaking up in there as well. But those top 5, those are the guys with 100 points. And man, Cowgill trying to run away. Look at that. Walton in 5th is 30 points behind already.
Yeah, this battle's, it's, you know what, it could really swing a lot in just 1 week, especially with the tracks that the series has coming up as well. You know, you never know what's going to happen with these point standings, but right now, if I was in the top 5, you know, you got a pretty decent gap right now on the cut line at this point in the season, very early, only a quarter of the way through the regular season. Only 2 guys locked in on wins, and neither of them right now are outside of the top 12. So at this moment in time, you know, you're just straight points racing if you're up there. So those top 5 got to feel pretty good. But then you look further on back, you know, 6th back to the guys that are just outside the cut now. So, you know, you got Mandela. He's only 15 points clear of those guys just on the outside looking in. AJ Binish, who missed tonight, and Zach Panzarella, who had a second early exit of the season. He's only 15 in front of those 2 guys. And right now, all those guys in between as well. You know, you see Bo Lander, he moved up the most spots this week, up to 9th from 19th. You know, you see Brenner, he moved up 2, even with his DNF tonight. Kyle Lynott lost 4 by not being here tonight, so that was one of the bigger losers. You know, you see Cowgill up there. He's now, Christopher Cowgill, that is now up to 11th, right behind the captain, Steve Lewis, and Stephen Bryan on that cut line. So a lot of stuff going on around that cut line, especially with some of those guys missing tonight. You know, like I said, Kyle Lynott misses. He only fell to 7th. But some of those other guys that missed tonight that we've been talking about, Mean Gene, AJ falls out of a playoff spot currently, now 13th. Alex Hillman, the biggest loser of the week by missing this week, he falls from 5th to 15th in the points. That is a huge loss. And, you know, you look further on back, Lucas Alves, he wasn't here, so he fell a little bit further in the points as well.
Other guys you got to be terrified about, though, is look at Matt Tucker. He's 19th, but he's only got the 2 starts. So you imagine if he has consistent runs and has good attendance, that's a guy. If he doesn't win, that's a big if, I might add, because Tucker, with tons of speed, he's going to go ahead and creep up into that battle. You know, Cody Matthews makes his first start, shows a lot of speed here today. That's somebody as well. I've seen him have great success over in other leagues. So if he can get consistent, I think he could sneak up that list and also become somebody you're looking at. But you're right. AJ Binish right now, 13th. in points, he's going to be up in there. So a lot of fellas are going to need to be doing that battle. But the question is, who drops out? I mean, if you look at me and tell me, a David Brenner's going to fall out of the playoff picture, I'm going to laugh at your face. Andrew Bolander's going to fall out of the playoff picture. Not going to happen. Zach Panzarella, that guy won last year. So hopefully he'll get his issues squared away, get back into this. And Hillman as well. We saw Hillman win last year. So I really don't even know. I could not even begin to fathom. Last week, I drove you crazy by talking about the playoff picture. This week, I'm the one that's hesitant. I don't know what's going to happen up there.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, I've seen some of these guys up here, some shock things happen over the course of a season. David Brenner, I've seen how bad his luck can be, especially as of late. I don't think he's finished. I think he just finished his first race actually of the season in the Xfinity Series. His luck has been absolutely terrible. So, I mean, you never know what can really happen to these guys. You get on a really cold streak and somebody you don't expect that's up there in the top 12 right now that, is really fast, they could drop out of the playoffs in a heartbeat, with the way the system works, the way the winning in works, the way the points work, all that kind of stuff. And especially when you look at these races coming up here, Mean Gene, look at the next 5 races in a row. This is going to be a gauntlet here, or actually 6 races in a row. So of course, we got the off week next week, Mean Gene. So we're not going to be around. We're going to have some time to recoup after this crazy race. And then we're going to come back on August 28th for Darlington. That's a complete wild card of a race. Then we're going to turn it around, and we're going to come back the week after for Watkins Glen, another race that could have a wild card winner, and anything could happen at Watkins. Of course, if you watched our broadcast last year, absolute chaos happened in that race. The week after that, on 9/11, just like in NASCAR, back in the day, they celebrated 9/11. Well, not celebrated, but honored everybody for 9/11 back in 2001 after it happened at Dover. We're going to be able to do the same thing here in this series, racing on 9/11 this year. But another track where anything can happen, especially with the short track style of racing that happens there. You can see a lot of stuff like happen tonight here at IRP. And then you get into the next 3 races, and they're even just as crazy. Daytona, anything can happen at a super speedway. Bristol is just a tiny version of Dover pretty much, and it'll create even more chaos than that race. And then Mid-Ohio, another road course. So literally the next 6 races are going to shape, I think, who is in and who is out of the playoffs this year.
And don't forget, we're going to have the in-season truck team tournament also is about to unfold. After Darlington, we will have a draft that will determine the 4 teams that will battle in season, and the winner of that in-season tournament is going to choose where our championship is going to be. And, let's make it even spicier, because Dalton Geyer, his work schedule changed. He was one of the final 4 drivers. Dalton missing the 3rd race at this point. I have to think he's tried to move things around, but we got to pay the bills, ladies and gentlemen. So Dalton not running. So that's going to open the door for a different person to come in and be a team captain. So that is going to be really exciting. What will it be? It'll be Panzarella, Vulpes, Owens,
and most likely Casabir would be
most likely
the next. That would be the person that would be approached next, since he finished 5th.
Look at that. So I would imagine if I'm Casabir, my first pick is Robert Babcock, right?
And
then my second pick is Sean Walton. Hey man, you pick who's fastest, okay? You pick who's fastest. The cool thing about this, Joe, all jokes aside, this is an opportunity, though, for you to, make roads with people that you might not know or that you might have had a little bit of beef with. This is very true. There's a chance for you guys to kind of be on the same page and work towards something. And if it works out good in the end, when they make you win the tournament and y'all are going to pick the track and they give their suggestions, you just make sure you don't pick a track they're good on. And that is the final coup de grace. That is the killing blow. But truth be told, this is a great opportunity for fellas to get to know each other. To meet other people. And that will happen after Darlington in 2 weeks. Again, we're off next week. But Vortex Racing Network will not be off because we will still be broadcasting on Monday, on Wednesday, and on Thursday or Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Yeah, I'm going to get there. I'm just going to keep saying words until something comes out. That's going to wrap us up for my IRP.
Don't worry. We're going to have something to show you to help you out on that one here, and hopefully for the next one.
Are you going to give me a teleprompter? Just read the teleprompter, old man. I need reading glasses. Put that in the budget. That's going to wrap us up for my IRP. It has been the MRL Thursday Thriller Truck Series. Tonight was absolutely a thriller as we saw side-by-side racing, Jonathan Casabir, Sean Walton, and then it became dawn at night when the rooster crowed, swooped in, and ran away with that victory. The rooster, Robert Babcock, getting the dub. This thing is getting spicy. Please join us in 2 weeks when Thursday Thriller will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my absolute pleasure to broadcast for you here this evening. On behalf of myself, Mean Gene Money, and Smokin' Joe Volpus, this has been the Thursday Thriller. We'll see you next time. As always, bottoms up and hammer down.